Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's really fantastic to see you here and to just really take in this incredible place that is the British Museum, a world-class institution, which I'm really proud to say is also right in the heart of my constituency. So welcome to my manor. Mr. President Emmanuel, Mrs. Macron, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, you are very, very welcome here, and it is fantastic to see you. We have thousands of visitors here every day from all over the globe to admire the museum's incredible collection of world history all around us here every single day. So it's a real pleasure to welcome two special sets of guests this afternoon, our brilliant French guests and friends who are all here, but also young people representing the next generation. And that is so important as we contemplate our history, because I know just how important access to the arts, to culture and history is for the next generation. Its potential to spark the imagination. There'll be very many people who've come here and had their imagination sparked, and that has put a light on for them and for so many other people to transform young people's lives by bringing history and culture and art into them and opening their eyes to new possibilities and opportunities and encourage them to reach the full extent of their ambitions and their talents. So no matter where you're from or who you are, it's here to bring us together, to remind us of our shared history, but also the common bonds that endure across languages, across borders and cultures. And that's what today is all about, making sure that everyone can appreciate our incredible history, inviting young people to bridge our past and our future, and igniting the passions and the talent of the next generation. And we are celebrating a brilliant initiative today. Everybody is walking around here with a smile on their face, and when the President yesterday announced to both houses what was going to be happening here, there was a great cheer went up, and that was representative, I think, of how this is being felt across the entire country. It is a brilliant initiative. Because what Emmanuel, my friend, announced yesterday, this cultural exchange between our two nations, two of the great treasures of our history, the priceless artefacts of Sutton Hoo, which we've just been to see upstairs, absolutely incredible story, incredible artefacts, and the biotapestry, which means so much. And again, the smiles as people saw just the depiction on the wall behind me as we walked in tells you just how much this means. Because for Sutton Hoo, 1,300 years ago in East Anglia, a wealthy man, we don't know who it was, probably a king, was buried in a lavish funeral ceremony, an Anglo-Saxon era, that of course was put to an end 300 years later by William the Conqueror at the Battle of Hastings. But it is an incredible piece of history that we have here, just imagining what that must have been like, changing our whole perception of that era of history, frankly, and bringing so much learning to us. And of course, the Battle of Hastings illustrated by the remarkable biotapestry, the beginning of 1,000 years of shared culture that is now defined by mutual admiration and kinship, as well, of course, as by some healthy competition, as anyone who is watching the Euros on Saturday will attest. But that history, that long history, forms the foundation of the European continent as we know it today. Now, both these treasures contain stories of war and of peace, of power and of politics, alliances and enemies, that we still know all too well in our modern world. They show us how connected our countries have always been. They deepen our appreciation of our shared history and enrich the relationship between our two nations today, because we are now entering a new era of world history, a time of huge change and turmoil that has led to insecurity for so many people. And in this new world, our alliances are, in my view, more important than ever. The strength and solidarity of countries that share the same values, the same aims, the same hope for the future. So, just as we stood together in the last century to bring peace to Europe, and it was a real privilege, Emmanuel, to mark Armistice Day in France, walking with you the same route as Churchill and de Gaulle once walked. Thank you so much again for that invitation to be there at that very special moment. And today the UK is proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with France, leading the coalition of the willing to support Ukraine, as well, of course, as working together to call for a sustainable peace in the Middle East. And at home, we're working together for our shared security and prosperity, creating jobs and growth for our people, tackling irregular migration, strengthening our defences to protect Europe from any threats, growing our economies and collaborating on the technologies of the future, and forging closer connections between our peoples with this cultural exchange, giving people across Britain the chance to admire the biotapestry. And there will be so many people who will want to come here to see that as soon as they can. And people across France to enjoy the treasures of ancient England. Well timed for the 1000th anniversary of William the Conqueror's birth in 2027. So as we look back together today, we are also inspired to look forward towards the future and remember that it is for us to write our own chapter of history now as two nations who forged peace, made our people better off, and remained the strongest of allies and the closest of friends. And on that note, it is a pleasure to welcome my friend, Mr. President Emmanuel, to speak to you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for your words, Mr. Prime Minister, dear Keir, Madam. Honourable Ministers, Mr. President of the British Museum, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, your Prime Minister expressed everything about the importance of this exchange and this cooperation. But allow me just to share a few words. First, to express our great pleasure and honour to be here in this iconic place. Indeed, being in a museum is never something, I would say, innocent. It's always being exposed to not just your culture, but the whole world, even from ancient times. And this is a clear relationship to universalism. And I want to commend you because we were just, informed in details about the project you have for the British Museum and a big, not just restoration, but I would say reinvention of your Western Ring. And on our side, we will try to reinvent a new phase and a new life for le Louvre, with this très grand Louvre, with the same ambition, trying to express not just our vision of the world, but gives the opportunity to our fellow citizens and citizens for the entire world to have the experience of beauty, the mystery of beauty, and a better understanding of art, invention, human cultures. And I think this common relation we have, and I do believe that our two countries, and you perfectly expressed it a few minutes ago, Mr. Prime Minister, is a very special relationship with the rest of the world and with universalism. And I think this is a treasure and something we have to cherish. I'm extremely happy to be part of you today because we've worked very hard during the past few years in order to make this exchange possible. And this is not just a potlatch as we made it in ancient times, but something, I think, very inventive. And you know, during decades, I have to say, I have to confess, we did our best not to be put in the situation to make this loan of biotapestry. And we found the best experts of the world to explain in perfect details why it was totally impossible to make such a loan. And believe me, we found them. And believe me, we're going to find them again. But we just decided a few years ago, and I have to pay tribute to your king, because it was a discussion together, and I saw his attachment, his willingness to have this project, and I'm very happy to make it with you, Mr. Prime Minister, dear Keir, my friend. We decided, and I want to thank our two special envoys, Mr. Belaval and Riquet, for the great job you did together on behalf of the two governments and the two nations. Thank you. But I have to say that beyond your work, I want to thank and compliment our two Ministers of Culture, because we went beyond the experts and we managed to find great solutions. So merci, Mesdames les Ministres. And I want to thank the British Museum, because the day you decided not just to welcome the biotapestry, but to say, let's look at certain who, let's look at how we can have, in fact, not just a loan, but exchange, create a new way to show to your people our own treasure. It unlocked everything. And the power of such an institution is wonderful. And I'm very happy about the great relations you have with the Louvre. And I hope that many projects will be organized by these two highest institutions. And I want to thank Bayeux, his mayor, clearly the museum and the whole team. And from the very beginning, the team, I would say, in Bayeux was very much in support of this approach. And this exchange will be organized between, I speak under your control, June 26 and June 27, broadly speaking, or June, September. And it will be a unique occasion to have millions of visitors coming here and millions of visitors between Rouen and Caen in these two museums to visit precisely and discover certain who and some of the remarkable pieces you just presented to us. So really, I want to thank this team who made possible, feasible, these loans and this exchange. My last word is to say, Mr. Prime Minister, you expressed how much important are our links and our future projects for our two countries, for Europe, and in these hectic times, for the rest of the world. And I strongly believe that culture is part of them. I strongly believe that as long as we will have people dedicated to life, to create, to share, to defend culture in our countries, to invent new spaces for that, and to have indeed sculptors, architects, creators, curators, we will be very special for the rest of the world, because there is no equivalent of that. And this type of tools are unbeatable. There is no trade war or tariffs against this kind of approach. And there is no new imperialism vis-à-vis this type of approach, because there is no barriers, there is no borders, by definition. And I'm so happy to see so many young people being here in this museum and working very hard for your culture, our culture, and universalism I mentioned. And, you know, I reminded everybody yesterday that obviously the tapestry recounts very epic events, and you refer to them with William the Conqueror, but the story is unfinished, and nobody knows the end. And nobody knows if the end of the tapestry was just once written and presented, or never existed. But this is our work, our duty, and our chance to be in this position to finish the tapestry. And to be sure that by allowing the tapestry to take the same road at these warriors, but with another state of mind and in the opposite way, that together we will build a new page of our common history and create a new era based on culture, knowledge, respect, science, and centuries and centuries of enlightenment, creations, and I would say friendship. So thank you very much. In a few months' time, to welcome the Bayeux Tapestry. And thank you very much to allow us to welcome, at the same moment, certain who treasures and some of your wonderful pieces of art in Rouen and Caen, because it will be the best symbol of our common work together and the fact that we are totally committed to this work in common, hand in hand, to be sure that the United Kingdom and France will put their energy to build, let's say, a better place, a better world dedicated to these values. Thank you very much.
Monsieur le Président, Prime Minister, Madame Macron, Lady Starmer, it is fantastic to have you here today at the British Museum. You know, in front of any other head of state in the world, we would say, welcome to the greatest museum in the world. In front of the President of France, we say, welcome to one of the two greatest museums in the world. And to our Prime Minister, it is fantastic to have our local MP with us, and you have done lots for us over the years you have represented this constituency. Now, when the British Museum was founded in 1753, it was the world's first national public museum. It was founded by Parliament, separate from the Crown. It was not a royal collection, it wasn't an aristocratic collection, it wasn't a religious